Hello YouTube, Speedy Viper here, and we are here with the Monaco Grand Prix. Massa pole position, didn't set a time, so he crashed it during Q1. Michael Schumacher, of course, the famous incident where he stopped at Rascasse, resulting in a yellow flag, meaning no driver could set a good lap time, thus would have secured him pole position, but it wasn't quiet, and that meant all his times were deleted, setting him to the back of the grid. He started from the pit lane, and that means he's going to start last place on the grid for this race. And Webber down there in 20th. Very good qualifying session from Mark Webber. Second on the grid in real life, but yeah. Well, yes. Recording. So yeah, very good qualifying session for Marco Webber. Liuzzi also had a decent qualifying session. He ended up 12th on the grid in real life, and that's going to start him outside the points. He's still in the top 10, so you never know, he could get lucky down at Saint-Devote. But Fisichella is the final one I should mention. He had his 3 fastest times deleted for impeding Coulthard. I'm sure Coulthard would have loved that to happen, but I suppose he starts behind him with the reverse grid series, because it wasn't a grid penalty. He started 9th, that was his time set, because he had 3 fastest time deleted. But anyway, let's get on with it. Monaco Grand Prix going to massively favour some of the smaller teams.
You know the drill by now.
And Torosso closed the gap at the bottom, but just a little bit last round in Spain. And they're going to be wanting to close the gap again as we're off. Is there going to be any crashes down into Saint-Devote? All fairly tidy, and we're all through very nicely indeed. As Massa leads the way from Montagny, who's not letting him run away too quickly. Very good start from Montagny. I've got a feeling that Massa's just going to start to eke out that gap. This is of course where Kimi Räikkönen crashed in the Monaco Grand Prix.
It's Webber! It's left his front wing with a bit of damage, but the rest of the car looks okay.
Where's Webber hiding?
That nose change though. Nothing serious enough to warrant his retirement, but still, a setback for him. Montoya was also involved.
Montoya involved.
He seems to have got away with no damage though.
Okay, so I'm not sure where the incident happened. Webber's just got past Räikkönen on the run up to Massine. We're going into Casino Square now. Ooh, interesting. So Webber, yeah, he has contact with Barrichello briefly, and then contact with Montoya. Interesting. So Webber maybe just a little bit too aggressive. He knows he's quick, and he wants to move as many places as he can. There's Felipe Massa. He's starting to stretch out that gap now. There's Montagny. He's got a gap, of course. He had an issue. Still not overly sure what it was. I believe it was a throttle issue, but he was keeping a second gap or so back to Sato, and then just tanked through the order. Like, Sato built up a 1, maybe 2 second gap in around half a lap, so yeah, he just dropped off the pace. But he'll be hoping that he's got a reliable car this time around. Of course, he had a very good start, keeping Massa on his toes for a little bit, but Massa's starting to eke out that gap now. There's Speed in 4th, Alba's 5th, Montero's 6th, Heitfeld up in 7th place, and Villeneuve completing a double points
Fifth is
position
Albers.
for
He's moved
BMW
up to
Sauber.
sixth. Montero is sixth. He's lost a place from his starting position. Heidfeld is in seventh. And Villeneuve is eighth.
So Liuzzi's sat in 12th. He's behind Fisichella. And Fisichella is currently sat third in the championship. He'd have been hoping to take the lead when him and Massa were going through the field in Spain. But unluckily for him, he ended up going wide at the final corner, dropping him down to 11th. He did fight his way back up the field, but he did lose many places, and Coulthard actually finished ahead of him on track and is currently sat 2 points ahead of him in the championship. Coulthard is currently sat 15th, so not too bad of a start for him. As Montoya... Why are these so far back?
Ide is second.
Ooh! Okay, so all three of them had to pit. So that's why they're so far back, and I'm guessing they had a flying lap if they caught up so quickly.
Fifth is Albers. Montero is
Yeah, so they had to pit, right on the back of Fernando Alonso. So I guess it caused a little bit of damage to them because they had to pit, so that's ruined their races. And because it's a tight circuit, so you never know. They could be more incidents where others have to pit and they could find themselves getting very lucky. But the two Super Gurus have managed to build a gap to speed, and Massa is just running away with it. What is it? Casino Square. Massa's at Rascasse now, so still a bit of a gap, but you never know. If Massa's flying, as he seems to be, then you could catch up to Webber potentially. See the drivers working the wheel as they go through Rascasse as well.
His previous lap time was 1:13.68.
1:13.68. That's a very good lap time.
He's been posting laps around the mid 1:16s.
This Button getting very close to the back of Villeneuve.
Lap 4 is
And not much position change going on.
Ide is second. Third is Takuma Sato. Speed is fourth. Fifth is Albers. Montero is sixth. Heidfeld is in seventh. And Villeneuve is eighth.
It's also fairly similar. Everyone's just pretty close to each other. No one's getting too much of an advantage as Webber goes through Sandevot. This one's probably going to be a little bit shorter, probably going to be edited just instead, just keeping you up to date with lap times and positions and things. So Massa still leads at the end of lap 4.
That's quicker than Ide. The gap is
But
now
Massa
about
absolutely
12
flying. We're down to 20 runners. Barrichello is out, I'm guessing engine failure. And I'm not sure who else is out. As Alonso getting very close to the back of Rosberg, he's having a look up the inside. Isn't able to get the move done. But yeah, I'm not sure who else is out. I know Liuzzi is up into 11th, Fisichella 10th, Button 9th, Villeneuve, Heidfeld, Montero, Albers, Speed, Sato, Montagny, Massa. So, who started higher? That's something we should be asking. I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Massa is first. Ide is second. Third is Takuma Sato. Speed is fourth. Fifth is Albers. Montero is sixth. Heifeld is in seventh. And Villeneuve is eighth.
So BMW Sauber not doing too badly. They're sat in 7th and 8th at the moment. It's a strong finish for them if they can get some double points here. Particularly this is a track favouring the smaller teams, and Montagny is trying to continue to build that gap to his teammate Sato. Massa, that was a Red Bull in the garage. Clean's out. There we go, Mr. Solved. But yeah, so Massa dominating this race. He's just going into Sandevot now, and there's Webber approaching the tunnel. So fair gap, but one that I reckon Massa can close in. As Montagny is moving on to the next lap, yeah. There he goes into Sandevot.
Third is Takuma Sato. Speed is fourth. Fifth is Albers. Montero is sixth.
Rosberg looks pretty close to the back of David Coulthard as they go through Massenet. Oh, Rosberg touches the barrier. That's going to put him under pressure from Alonso, who has another look. He isn't able to do it once again. There is Montoya in the background. There's Webber, and there's Massa going on to the main straight. So 1:13.65, a very good lap from Felipe Massa. Best lap in Q2 was 1:13.5 from Kimi Räikkönen, so a very good lap from Felipe Massa.
Massa is first. Ide is second. Third is Takuma Sato. Speed is fourth. Fifth is Albers. Montero is sixth. Heifeld is in seventh. And Villeneuve is eighth.
Ooh, Button very aggressive into Sandevot, and that's going to put him on the back foot on the run up to Massenet. Fisichella is going to get very close. Can he get up the inside into Massenet? Maybe the outside. No, he's going to have to follow him through, and I don't think he's going to have an option anywhere else around the track. He goes wide, scrapes the barrier. And Liuzzi is not close enough to capitalise on that one. What's interesting is, if it stays like this, Fisichella is... No, Massa, not Fisichella. But Fisichella, he's going to build, I think, a 12-point gap. Because if it stays like this, Coulthard is out the points in 14th. Fisichella is out the points in 10th. Barrichello is out the race altogether. Ralf Schumacher is down in 13th. Villeneuve is going to be taking a point, as Button's getting very close. But Villeneuve's going to take a point, which is going to move him into 17, which is not going to affect Massa's gap to second place. Räikkönen's out the points. Rosberg is out the points. Schumacher's out the points. Button is 9th place, threatening for the points, but as we go further, it's towards the back end of the championship where you're finding points position cars, as Montagny has managed to build a massive gap to Sato, and speed is being kept at bay by the Super Aguri. There's Albers. Montero starting to come under a bit of pressure from Nick Heidfeld, as too is Villeneuve with Button.
Third is Takuma Sato. Speed is fourth. Fifth is Albers. Montero is sixth. Heidfeld is in seventh. And Villeneuve is eighth.
But another very aggressive look up the inside into Sandevot. It's going to back him up once again into Fisichella, but he's just got enough straight line speed to defend from Giancarlo Fisichella in the Renault. And just keeps it a little bit closer this time around, Fisichella. But isn't close enough for a move once again as they go into Lowe's hairpin. Raikkonen now firmly onto the back of the group. There's Massa, there's Webber as he approaches Lowe's hairpin, and Massa's already through Sainte Devote, so it's yeah, it's getting closer between Massa and Webber. Massa might not do it, he may do, you never know. But Montagny is only just going through Rascasse. And oh, engine failure for Takuma Sato, well timed by me to catch that. But Takuma Sato out with an engine failure. He clipped the inside barrier at Rascasse as he tried to get off the racing line. But he's out. So that's going to promote Webber up to 19th. Massa is just unchanged in all this. So too is Montagny. But Scott Speed gets onto the podium for Toro Rosso. They really need strong finishes, and they're currently sat in 3rd and 10th. As Button has a look at Villeneuve. He wants more points now that he's in it. And he had a look there, going through Casino Square, but he wasn't able to complete the move. As Fisichella's into 9th, Liuzzi 10th. The two Toyotas have been kept at bay by Liuzzi. And we've actually got 3 Italians in a row. We've got Fisichella in the Renault, Liuzzi in the Toro Rosso, and then Trulli in the Toyota. As we've got the final 4 laps, as Fisichella getting a little bit more aggressive now. Heitfeld's put a bit of a gap between him and Villeneuve, as he's on the back of Montero, but not close enough. There's Alves in 4th as he goes over that oil slick left by Takuma Sato.
Massa is putting the pressure on here. His previous lap time was 1:13.
But I don't think Speed is particularly closing in on Montagny.
I say gap, it's more like a gulp, has grown to a massive 30 seconds now.
But there's Massa, 1st place, going through the swimming pool section, approaching Rascasse in 1st place, and 2nd place is Montagny, isn't even at the tunnel. This is a massive gap. This is just complete domination. It's truly just complete domination. And Montagny's got a nice gap to Speed as well. So, yeah. Ferrari starting to stretch the legs.
In front of him at quite a pace. Now all we can ask is, has he got the time left to catch him? Ide will be feeling the pressure now. The gap is 4.5 seconds.
4.5 seconds between Speed and Montagny.
The gap is now under 5 seconds.
It's under 5 seconds, we know that.
As we head into the final few laps, Massa is 1st.
Speed is on a roll now.
Yes, he is.
He's slowly closing in. The margin has shrunk by another 10.
That's not enough though if he wants to catch up to Montagny. He's got a fair gap as Speed goes through Massenet.
That's a good first sector for Speed. The gap is now down to under 4 seconds.
Speed closing in. Has he got enough time left? But does he have enough time to pass him, even if he does catch up?
Here's the current top 8. Massa is 1st. Ide is 2nd. Speed is 3rd. 4th is Christian Albers.
Speed is on a roll now. He's reduced the gap by another 1/10 of a second. Looks like Speed will have to settle for his current position. It'll be smiled all round for Ide after keeping the challenge from behind at bay. He should comfortably hold his place now.
There you go, Martin Brundle said it. Montagny should comfortably keep 2nd place. That would be a very strong finish from Montagny. And something that Super Aguri could do with. They're currently in a constructors battle with Renault and McLaren. Not something you'd expect to hear. But this would put them ahead of the duo. And ahead of Red Bull as well. And somewhere near Honda actually. But Toro Rosso really do need this podium finish. It's looking like it's going to bump them up to 18 points, which would be ahead of Williams.
Massa has given the crowd a fantastic display of racing here at this Grand Prix. He started on pole, but it's still testimony to his driving skills that he's at the head of the pack on the last lap of the race. The condition and the performance of his car have been excellent today.
That's Massa on full charge. His previous lap time was 1:13.58. That's quicker than Ide. His lap times are around the mid-1:15 range.
So here comes Massa now, approaching Raskas to take 2 victories in a row. He comes across the line now to take the victory in Monaco.
Massa races past the checkered
Montagny is only at the tunnel.
10 points and top spot on the podium.
So here comes Montagny through Raskas. And comes across the line for a brilliant second place for Super Aguri. And speed comes across the line. 3rd place for Toro Rosso, 4th for Albers, 5th for Montero. Brilliant race from Midlands. And the 2 BMW Saubers take home 3 and 2 points respectively. And then Button comes across the line to round out the points positions.
Another historic race concludes here at Monaco. It's always a
It's
very
a fantastic
special
race.
occasion, and this
40
year has been no
seconds
exception.
at the
Drama
front.
at its highest. Street racing at its most challenging. It's an incredible place, and it's always a pleasure to be here on Grand Prix weekend. 2 weeks from now, and much earlier than in recent years, we'll do it all again at the home of the British Grand Prix, Silverstone.
So Silverstone next.
could almost be considered the home GP of no less than 6 teams. McLaren, Renault, Williams, Honda, Red Bull and Midland F1 are all based in the UK, and you can be assured of a very special weekend of racing. We'll see you there in June. Thanks for joining us, take care and goodbye.
My home Grand Prix, Button's home Grand Prix, Coulthard, so I hope they're going to do well at the Silverstone Grand Prix, but we're going to be moving on to the championship tables now. Alright guys, we are on to the driver's standings, and Felipe Massa opens his championship lead up to 12 points. So far in this series we've had like 1 or 2 point gap at the top of the championship standings, and it was the same after Spain. Felipe Massa led by 2 points to Coulthard, who had a 2 point gap back to Fisichella. So 6 points were separating the top 3, but now it is 14. So 4 point. Shut up. But anyway, Felipe Massa is on top by a commanding lead now, and Villeneuve is the first to move up a position. So most of it is mainly mid-pack as to who goes down and who goes up. Most of it is mid-pack. It gets towards the sort of top end and it starts to get towards the bottom end as well, but it's mainly that mid-pack there. But Villeneuve jumps up ahead of Ralf Schumacher, and Montagny out of nowhere comes up into the top 10 ahead of Michael Schumacher. So he did absolutely brilliantly today. Of course, built that gap to his teammate and then just held it from there. But Michael Schumacher drops down into 10th. He's joint on points with Montagny, Button, and Albers jumps up onto the same points as the 3 of them as well, but he is in 12th. Thiago Montero stays in the same place, so he gets ahead of a couple of people and he drops behind a couple of people to stay in the same position. Ide, of course, dropping down once again. He was at one point inside the top 10, comfortably in the top 10, but now he's down to 14th, and he'll just continue to drop down as everyone scores points around him. The two Toro Rossos are both on 9 points now, so they're starting to get some points under their belt. They, of course, need these points because they were a fair bit behind. They were the only team not to be in double figures at one point in the points, but now they're there, and I believe they're ahead of Williams. But, Sato drops down as well, of course, DNFing with that engine failure. And, Montoya, of course, failing to score, but Nick Heidfeld just gets within 2 points of him. He's closing in on Juan Pablo Montoya. Montoya struggled so much. He had a decent start, but he's just starting to struggle now, which is why he's so far down. But Webber struggling along with Trulli, the two of them are struggling, and the main surprise, of course, is Fernando Alonso, still only with that 1 point. He's really been struggling this season so far, and he's going to hope to turn that around in the second half of the season for sure, because real life world champion in a PS Luton Rules Reverse Grid Series, he won the championship there by a commanding victory. So it's quite a surprise actually that Alonso is just so far down and has to find 35 points to get to Felipe Massa at the top, which is just incredible at this early stage in the season. Moving on to the constructors standings, and Ferrari are definitely stretching their legs. They have I think the second best car on the grid. Yeah, it's arguable, but I believe they have the second best car on the grid to Renault, who are number 1 and 2. Ferrari number 5 and 6 after not the greatest of starts to the 2005 season, but they clawed it back. But they're certainly having a good start here today. They've got a 17-point gap to Honda behind them. So Honda having another very good season, with Super Aguri out of nowhere comes up back into the top 3, 1 point behind Honda, which is just incredible. Red Bull drop out the top 3 now as they fail to score points. Midland's out of nowhere as well. They come up to 5th place, followed by BMW Sauber, who move up to 6th. It's just Midland's just taking advantage of the nature of the Monaco circuit and gain themselves a nice amount of points. McLaren, of course, Montoya struggling, so they're quite far down, along with Renault, the two teams struggling compared to Ferrari. Toyota drop down to 9th. Toro Rosso move themselves up into 10th place, struggling throughout most of the start of the season, but look to be starting to get into it now. Hopefully we can get some more points, maybe get ahead of Toyota, but they're definitely starting to get into the battles now. And of course, Williams dropped down into last place on 17 points, so it's all tight towards the back end of the field for points, but not exactly cars you'd expect being further down. But anyway, the next circuit is my home race, Silverstone. Not a track overly favouring the small teams, but if you get it right, you can defend from much, much quicker cars. So that's going to be a good one. Join me then. But yeah, the next video, no idea when it'll be. It'll be some random point in time. Hope to see you then.